It's the second game of a three-game series here in the regular season between the Washington Capitals and the Seattle Kraken. The Capitals won 4-1 back on October 21st down in D.C., and now we come to the Emerald City for the second meeting between these two teams. Sit back and enjoy this one as we are underway here from Seattle. Alex Ovechkin gets it off the face-off win, gets it taken off his stick immediately by Adam Larsson, but Washington takes back over. Carlson tried to bring it in, and it's taken away by Kaapo Kakko. And here comes Seattle on their first turn of the game. Jordan Eberle gets crunched. And here comes Washington with McMichael. Dangles. McMichael fires off the blocker of DeCord. Goes back behind the net. First shot on goal turned aside by Joey DeCord and Seattle. Here's Kaapo Kakko. Centering pass intercepted by McMichael. Here come the Capitals. McMichael tried to dangle his way around. Vince Dunn there defensively. And now Seattle back up ahead. Jordan Eberle pestered into the slot, taken away. And Washington brings it back up here with McMichael. McMichael into the slot, loses it to Strome, who loses it behind the net. Seattle gains control. Here come the Kraken. He gets hit hard. Offsides on Washington, and we're underway. Just a couple minutes gone by. Already flying up and down the ice. Face off in center here after the offsides, controlled by the Kraken. Eeli Tolvanen, center to Stevenson, a shot, score! Chandler Stevenson, and Seattle strikes first. Nothing special about it, just a centering pass from Eeli Tolvanen. Stevenson got an open look, and he puts it in to put the Kraken on top early off the pad of Thompson. Right off the top of the foot and in. And what a start here in Seattle. So Stevenson gets the goal. The assist goes to Eeli Tolvanen. Errant pass goes all the way through. A big hit delivered at the blue line. So just 2 minutes in, Seattle with a 1-0 lead already. Now another chance. Gaudreau fires, saved by Thompson. Goes back behind the net. Sort of now Wilson. Second unit in here for the Capitals. Wilson back behind the net. Looking for a place to go. Floats into the corner. Chandler Stevenson there for Seattle. And they get it out. Gaudreau intercepted in center by Wilson. Here come the Capitals back in. Sordev. Errant pass goes all the way back. Winterton gets there for the Kraken. And here comes Seattle. Up top, Ty Cartier bobbles. Keeps it alive, then loses it. Duame. Back behind the net. Centering pass denied out in front. The one-time try can't get through. And Winterton gains control for Seattle. That was a laser beam. Seattle feeds it in deep back behind the net. Sandin. Van Riemsdyk now Leonard. Up top, Duame. Head of steam. Cut off by Alexiak. Fires a shot kicked away by Joey DeCord. Here comes Seattle back the other way. Catton centering to Melanson. Taken off his stick by Van Riemsdyk. Good defense in transition there by Washington. Battle for it to neutralize. Duame brings it in. Floats it in around the boards. Jamie Alexiak, first guy to it for Seattle. Here comes Winterton. Winterton centering pass. Melanson shot sticked aside by Thompson. Battle for it on the wing. Winterton gets free. Drops it off. Melanson shot stopped by Thompson. Back behind the net. Seattle on the attack as it comes into the corner. And here comes Duame out of the zone for Washington. Fires a shot long. Easy save by DeCord. Lindgren gets there for the Kraken. Crowd loud here to start this game from Seattle. 1-0 Kraken on top. Catton battles to the far half wall. A lot of bodies out there. Sandin escapes the pack with it. Here's Leonard in center. LaPierre dangles back, intercepted by Winterton. Here come the Kraken. Winterton slowly moves his way in, drops it off Alexiak off a body. He hit his own guy as Catton got in the way. Alexiak back behind the net, back up to the point. Errant pass goes all the way out and down the length of the ice. Joey DeCord waits for help to come, sends it back around to this side in Winterton. Now Lindgren with it. Catton gets hit hard. Leonard at the red line, cut off by Catton. Seattle changes as Larson gets to it. Vince Dunn up ahead for the Kraken, loses it in center. Van Riemsdyk gets there for Washington. Capitals trying to get it out. Sandin lowers his shoulder, stays alive. Leonard battling, floats it back behind the net. Vince Dunn there for the Kraken, stretch pass. Matty Beniers. The speedster fires, saved by Thompson. No further play. Hot start for the Kraken in this game. Already 5 shots on goal and a 1-0 lead. Face-off control by the Kraken. Larson gloved down by Thompson. Keeps it alive, and here come the Capitals. Frank feeds it in around the boards. Back in the trapezoid, Dunn got trapped for a moment. Gets it out to Beniers. Beniers up ahead to Capo Kakko. Centering pass to Eberle, can't handle it. Kakko keeps it in. And now turns it over to Dowd. Here comes Washington. Dowd drops it off. Leonard, top of the slot. Off a body in front, tips into the corner. Seattle looks to get it out of the zone again, and they will. Jordan Eberle up ahead. The captain fires, sticks aside by Thompson. Kakko flags it down in the corner. Battle for it along the half wall. Dunn keeps it in. Drops it off to Fleury. Fires a shot. Saved by Thompson. No further play. Face-off coming in the Washington end. Just under halfway through this opening period from Seattle. Evans loses it. Good defense by McMichael. And here comes the grade 8, Alex Ovechkin. Ovechkin centering to McMichael off a stick out in front. Into the corner it comes. Stevenson gets knocked down, kept alive by Ovechkin. Tip try out in front, denied by DeCord. And here come the Kraken. Gaudreau intercepted at the red line. Ovechkin brings it in. Back behind the net. Centering pass denied by Joey DeCord. 10:37 to go in the opening period. And now Washington looking to gain some momentum. Face-off, not very cleanly controlled by Seattle. Jared McCann waits for help to come. McCann tried to take it inside. Good defense by Chychrun. And now here comes Washington, who feeds it in deep. First guy back, Jamie Alexiak, gets crunched along the boards. Keeps it alive for Seattle. Watch out, turnover. And then a bobble in the slot before Washington can take it down the lane. Jared McCann tried to send his way inside and taken away by Washington. Here comes the Capitals. Now McCann takes it away and feeds it in. Over halfway through this opening period, 1-0 Seattle. Here from Climate Pledge Arena in the Emerald City. Protas taken off his stick by Adam Larson. Shane Wright. Down the middle, fires, saved by Thompson. Goes into the corner, Catton gets there first for the Kraken. He sends it back behind the net where Protas is there for the Capitals. Eberle gets knocked down, stays alive back behind the net. Up to the point, Lindgren floats it towards the net, sticked aside by Thompson, back behind Eberle. Eberle back up to the point, and Fleury inside, taken away, watch out. Numbers for Washington, Protas jailbreak. Trying to be cut off, and a great transition defense by Seattle. Ty Cartier with it for the Kraken. Fleury up ahead, drops it off Eberle. Now Lindgren fires off a body in front, tipped in the air, loose. Eberle couldn't handle it. Back behind the net. Catton on the wing. Works it down low, cut off in the corner. Floats inside, taken away by Washington, and here they come. Sordiff gets crunched by Eli Tolvanen fresh into the game. Kept alive by Duame. Duame drops it off a shot. Denied by Joey DeCord. 7:35 to go in the opening period. Face off in the Seattle end. 7:35 to go in the opening period. 1-0 Kraken. Jordan Eberle still out there for Seattle. He gets crunched, kept alive by Dunn. Dunn feeds it in deep. Matty Beniers tried to get there. Good defense by Carlson. Here comes Washington. Duame. Duame gets hit hard and floats it out of bounds. 7:03 to go in the opening period. Face-off control by Washington in neutral ice. Have to tag back up. Good defense coming in by Seattle. Frank brings it in looking for a center. Frank drops it off. One-timer blocked out in front. Now into the corner they come. Kept in by Washington. Float towards the net. Tip try. Denied by Joey DeCord. Seattle will get it out. Ellie Tolvanen. This side in Gaudreau. Drops it off. Stevenson flips it towards the net. Thompson goes just wide. Into the trapezoid. Tolvanen wraparound try. Denied out in front. And here comes Washington. Carlson. Outside down. On the wing. Fires. Saved by DeCord. Loose puck controlled by Seattle. And here come the Kraken. Chandler Stevenson loses it to Sandin. Now McMichael with it. Dowd. Chychrun, now Dowd again. Back to McMichael, brings it in. McMichael loses it. Here come the Kraken back the other way. Jamie Alexiak, the defenseman, brings it up. Alexiak loses it into the corner. Battle for it in the Washington end, controlled by the Capitals. And here comes Washington. Beauvillier loses it to the inside. Under 5 minutes to go, opening period. 1-0 Seattle. Riker Evans drops it off. Melancon blocked out in front beautifully. Loose puck in the slot. Kakko out in front. Good stick by LaPierre. And it floats out of the zone to Beauvillier. And now McMichael. Good defense in transition by the Kraken in this opening period. Not allowing Washington to get open looks. Battle for it in the right wing circle. Controlled by Seattle. Melancon gets hit hard. Washington looking to keep it in. Shane Wright over to get the loose change. Jamie Alexiak sends it in deep. Watch out in front. Nearly a bad turnover there. LaPierre able to pick up the loose chains. Evans keeps it in for a moment. Now they get it out. Beauvillier. Beauvillier hit hard along the boards by Matty Beniers. Seattle takes over. Just over 3 minutes to go. Here come the Kraken. Melancon brings it in. Working with Beniers, who got in the way of that shot. Rebound. Shane Wright back up top. Alexiak. Now Evans on the top of the slot. Fires. Tipped around. Loose puck in the slot. Score! Seattle on the attack. It's Jacob Melancon. And it's 2-0. Seattle. There were so many bodies down low, and he just wrapped and fired it. Look at this backhand. Oh, beautiful. So many sticks in the way. No chance for Thompson to see where that was coming in. Look at the bodies. He wrapped it around not only Matty Beniers, his own player, but a number of Washington defenders in there as well, and it's 2-0. What a start for the Kraken here in the opening period. Seattle brings it right back in. Melancon fires again. Thompson just able to get a piece of it as it is in the trapezoid and in the control of Washington. Here's Alex Ovechkin trying to work his way in. Floats it towards the net. Cut off by Lindgren. Great start for Seattle. A turnover. McMichael denied by Joey DeCord. 2:13 to go in the opening period. Face off in the Seattle end, controlled by the Kraken. And they'll get it out of the zone before turning it over back to Washington. Ovechkin tried to send it in. Adam Larson now behind their own net. Turns it over to McMichael. Watch out in front. Ovechkin had a chance at it. Couldn't get a clean shot off. Back near the trapezoid behind the net. Floats out to the left wing circle, controlled by Seattle. Ty Cartier. Dangles. Cartier tried to cut it back inside, taken away by McMichael. And here come the Capitals. Floating to the inside, Duame turns it over. Seattle turns back with just over a minute to go in this opening period from Seattle. Eberle to Catton, denied by Thompson. The rebound outside. Cartier gets knocked down. Eberle denied by Thompson. 50 seconds to play. Face-off control by Washington. Under a minute to go in the period. 2-0 Seattle, off to a hot start. Turnover. Gaudreau up top to Vince Dunn. Outside Stevenson can't handle it. Floats it down low to Tolvanen. Back up top to Dunn. Stevenson in the slot. Loose puck floats outside and not able to be kept in. And Larson just flings it out of harm's way. One final attack here as they send it all the way down. That'll be icing. 6 seconds left and a face-off coming in the Washington end. Face-off control by the Kraken. Lindgren outside. Tolvanen inside. Stevenson down low. Trying to get a shot off. They cannot. And that'll do it for the opening period here in Seattle. The Kraken off to a hot start. 2-0 our score after one from the Emerald City. Start of the second period here in Seattle. 2-0 start for the good guys here at Climate Pledge Arena. As we are about set for the second period, and we're back underway with Washington winning the face-off. Here's McMichael in with a head of steam, cut off beautifully by the big cat Adam Larson. He gets hit hard by Alex Ovechkin. Flip, one-timer out in front, denied by DeCord. No further play. Hot start for Washington in the second. Face off early here in the second period in the Seattle end, controlled by the Kraken, and then Dunn turns it over. Shot! Bucked down by Joey DeCord. And now Dunn feeds it up Jordan Eberle. Battle for it in front of the benches, comes out to center, controlled by Alex Ovechkin, who survives the contact. Ovechkin drops it off, looking for a place to go, and it's cut off in center by Matty Beniers. And here come the Kraken. Capo Caco. Beniers, done, a shot, denied, rebound, swatted away by Thompson. Capo Caco was right down there on the doorstep, and Thompson keeps it out. And now a face-off here in the Seattle end. Face-off control by Washington, they'll get it out of the zone. Here's Roy, head of steam up ahead. Roy drops it off into the slot, a shot, whiffed, and Seattle gains control. Gaudreau loses it in center. Intercept at red line by the Seattle Kraken. Stevenson can't feed it in. Floats it down low, controlled by Wilson and the Capitals. Good defense by Fleury. Another intercept, bringing it in for the Kraken. Now another takeaway as they float it in deep. Race for the puck. Protas is there for Washington. Back up top, Roy keeps it in. Fires, saved by DeCord. Comes out to the wing. Seattle trying to get it out of the zone. Gaudreau battles for it on the near half wall. Floats into the corner. Fleury is there for the Kraken. Turnover again out in front. Seattle can't get it out. Roy keeps it in. Floats it in deep. Washington on the attack. Seattle gains control. Chandler Stevenson works his way in. Fires a long shot, and it's gloved down by Thompson. No further play. Face-off control by Washington. 3 minutes gone by, second period, 2-0 Seattle. Frank on the wing, well high. Might have got tipped out in front. Good defense there by Seattle. They'll get it out. Catton loses it to the near side, looking for a place to go. Down low right. Can't handle it. Loses it to Sandin. Here comes Washington. Leonard leading the charge. Drops it off down into the slot. Down low down. Trying to circle back up top. Sandin. Good block out in front. Now flipped inside. Loose puck controlled by Joey DeCord. And he stops play there. Seattle playing very good transition defense so far here tonight. Face-off controlled by Seattle. And they'll get it out. Ty Cartier. Looking for a center. Melanson off a body in front. Cartier gets the loose change back behind the net. Villiers takes over for Washington. Here's LaPierre. LaPierre dangles, trying to get around Larson, can't. And it floats up top, kept in by Beauvillier. Flaherty, a shot denied. LaPierre tries on the short side, and DeCorn says no. 15:27 to go in the period. Face-off controlled, not very cleanly by Seattle. Matty Beniers had a steam up ahead. Beniers to the other side, and Eberle, a shot, stick to side by Thompson. Carlson gets the loose change for Washington. They'll get it out. Here's McMichael. McMichael up ahead, centers, intercepted by Eberle. More good transition defense by the Kraken. Intercept in center. Alex Ovechkin loses it into the slot. McMichael tried to turn and fire, denied out in front. And Matty Beniers gains control. Here's Eberle. Eberle trying to get around Carlson. He gets knocked down. Good defense by Washington. Alex Ovechkin brings it in. The grade 8 loses it into the corner. Matty Beniers there for Seattle. Turnover, not in front. Ovechkin just wide. Nearly a bad turnover by Seattle. Kept in. Ovechkin denied by DeCord. The grade 8 denied on the doorstep. Face-off in the Seattle end, controlled by Washington. Van Riemsdyk gloved out of the air by Joey DeCord. Face-off control by Washington. Good defense off that face-off win by Seattle. And LaPierre keeps it in. Downstairs, Duame loses it before he could get a shot off. Now LaPierre off the goalpost on the left side. Seattle will get it out. Winterton up ahead. Drops it off to no man's land. Big hit coming in. Duame keeps it alive. Washington takes back over. Van Riemsdyk brings it in, right wing. Van Riemsdyk tried to button hook back. Good. Cut off by Fleury. And Seattle will get it out again. Ty Cartier loses it up top. Fleury comes back to get there. Ty Cartier in front of the Washington bench. Seattle backtracks. Intercept in center. Seattle gains control again. Eli Tolvanen button hooks in. Tolvanen sends it right at top of the blue paint. Far half wall, they battle for it. Seattle keeps it in. Tolvanen fires towards the net, and Thompson says no. Rebound control by Washington. And they'll get it out of the zone. Here's Wilson. Flips it ahead. Turnover denied. Joey DeCord. Wilson let it fly. Face-off control by Seattle in their own end. Catton. Centering pass denied. Out in front, McCann on the one-time try. Kept in, Fleury. Downstairs, back up top. Fleury lets it fly, tipped wide. Catton gets the rebound. Back up top to Fleury. Fleury into the slot, denied off a body in front. Goes into the corner. Chychrun behind the net. Washington looking to get it out. They will. Protas Wilson. On the near side, Wilson. Button hooks back, centering, pass. Denied out in front. DeCord might have gotten a piece of it. Seattle brings it back out. Halfway through, just about halfway through this period. Still 2-0 Kraken. Broken stick. Trying to be kicked ahead. Fleury gains control all the way down. Icing the call. 10:08 to go in the second period. Seattle putting on a defensive gem right now against Washington. Face-off control by the Kraken. Big hit behind the play. Over halfway through this period now. Floats back into the Seattle end. Frank is there. Frank, good defense by Fleury. Back behind the net, Frank. Back up top and out of the zone it comes. Errant pass. And Washington has to track it. These two teams played back in October in D.C. Washington won that game by a score of 4-1. This is the second game of a 3-game series this season. This time in Seattle, DeCord shuts down that shot attempt from outside. And Seattle has the upper hand right now, 2-0. Strome on the turnover, denied by Joey DeCord. Goes up to the far half wall, controlled by Seattle for a moment. Then they turn it over again, but then maintain control. Fleury, pestered from behind, shoots, denied by Thompson. Goes into the corner. Carlson gains control for Washington. On this side, now Strome. Strome sends it back off the wall. Dunn gets there for the Kraken. Here's Kaapo Kakko. Kakko, back behind the net. Centering out in front, score! Vince Dunn! And it's 3-0 Seattle on the feed from Kaapo Kakko. It looked like he was going to take it all the way back behind the net, and then he just dropped it off, and Vince Dunn was standing there all alone. And the Kraken take a 3-0 lead here at home. Beautiful feed by Kaapo Kakko, and it's a 3-0 Seattle lead. Back behind the net, Vince Dunn gains control. Chandler Stevenson. Gaudreau. Can't handle it. Here comes Washington back the other way. 3-0 Seattle now. The goal by Vince Dunn off the feed from Kaapo Kakko. Now, McMichael loses it. Ovechkin can't handle it. Still loose in the slot. Ovechkin whiffed. Van Riemsdyk, back down low. Cut off by Stevenson. Larson gets there for the Kraken. And here comes Seattle out of the zone. Gaudreau loses it. Washington takes over in center. Errant pass goes all the way in deep. Icing called. 6:54 to go in the second period. Now a 3-0 Seattle lead. Face-off in the Washington end, controlled by the Capitals. Alex Ovechkin working outside. Ovechkin back behind the net. McMichael. Wraparound try. Couldn't get it through. McMichael gets it back up to the point. Tipped around in the slot. Into the corner it comes. Now in the trapezoid, Matty Beniers. Floats up to the far side. Controlled Jordan Eberle. Kaapo Kakko. Loses it in center. Floats back to Riker Evans. He turns it over. Battle forward along the near wall. Floats back into the Washington end. Controlled by the Capitals. Turnover. Eberle denied by Thompson. Comes into the corner. Back behind the net. Kaapo Kakko. Pestered. Kakko into the corner. Floats back behind the net. Strome gets there for Washington, and they'll get it out of the zone. Alex Ovechkin. McMichael. Up ahead, fires, save DeCord, goes into the corner. McMichael. Sodriff can't handle it. Loose puck in the slot, controlled by the Kraken. They get it out of the zone. This side, Sordiff. Sordiff tried to cut into the inside. Good cut off by Chandler Stevenson. Here come the Kraken. Stevenson centering. Tolvanen wide of the net. Rebound off the wall. Controlled by Harvey. Goes into the corner. LaPierre there. Stevenson there. Intercepted on the inside by Alex Ovechkin. Here come the Capitals. Sordek drops it off. Can't handle it. Seattle gains control. Tolvanen in front of the benches. Now Carlson gets it for Washington. Duame can't handle it. And here comes Seattle. Jared McCann. Tolvanen gets hit at the blue line. Washington takes over. Duame. Now Carlson with it up ahead. LaPierre to the other side. Offsides call. 3:31 to go in the period. 3-0 Kraken. Face off. Controlled by Washington. Wilson brings it in. He gets knocked down. That's a penalty. He gets up, keeps it alive. Six skater in for a moment. Seattle touches it, and Washington's going to get a power play on a trip. Bringing it in, Cale Fleury puts his stick out, knocks him down. Easy call. So our first penalty called of this game. First power play belongs to Washington. Cale Fleury spikes the water bottle in the penalty box. Now a chance for Washington to get back into this game, trailing by 3. First power play of the game here in Seattle belongs to Washington. They win the faceoff. Sandin, Leonard, whiffed on the shot. Good defense out in front by Seattle. Flip it up and out of the zone. Washington has to tag back up. Chutrin will bring it right back in. Looking for a center. Fires towards the net. DeCord says no. Minute 39 to go in the power play. 2:55 to go in the period. As we get another face-off in the Seattle end, controlled by the Kraken. Evans will flip it up and out. Chased down by Alex Ovechkin. Stretch pass intercepted by Alexiak. Seattle turns back in short-handed, and then they feed it in. Ovechkin gets hit back behind the net. McMichael gets there for Washington. Just over a minute to go in the penalty. Washington strikes a big breakout. Beauvillier. Beauvillier to the inside. Fires a shot, saved. Just gunning a piece of it is DeCord. And Melanson clears the zone. Under a minute to go in the power play. Protas. Bring it in, intercepted for a moment. Now he gets by. And what a stop by Joey DeCord. Floats. Oh, big hit. He flipped over the bench. What is happening? Big hits all over the place. The crowd doesn't like it. We play on. Frank centers. Ovechkin denied again by DeCord. Loose puck in the slot, controlled by Seattle. My goodness. Seattle clears. Joey DeCord with a masterclass here on this penalty kill. Frank brings it in. Kraken back to full strength. And they get it out. Fleury fresh out of the penalty box. Up top. Fleury centers, whiffed. And Seattle survives the penalty. We're under a minute to go in the period. Frank centering. Duame kicked away by DeCord again. Joey DeCord, masterclass in the second. Fleury, right. Loses it to Sandin. 32 seconds to go in the period. Duame back up for Washington. Final seconds tick down. One-timer denied. Joey DeCord showing off here in the final minutes of the second. Let's look at these saves Joey DeCord just had. Right on the doorstep, he goes full split to knock that one down. Kicks that one aside. What a masterclass by Joey DeCord. Here's another one. Beautiful. Goes down to a seat, keeps it out of the net, and preserves the shutout in the final seconds of this second period. What a penalty kill by Seattle. Now back to full strength on both sides. Seattle wins the faceoff. Final seconds tick down of this second period. McCann drops it off. Dunn whips. Kept in by Larson. Lets it fly off a body in front. 4 seconds to go in the period. Larson pestered by Ovechkin. Sends it towards the net. Tipped aside by Thompson. And that'll do it. For the second period, Seattle adds on another goal. And Joey DeCord showing off the goaltending skills. 3-0 our score after 2 from the Emerald City. The Kraken have the lead. Start of the third and final period here from the Emerald City. The Kraken with a 3-0 lead. Joey DeCord with the masterclass for the Kraken in between the pipes. Capitals trying to mount a comeback. Seattle trying to put it away. Away we go here in the third. Eberle turns it over. Crowd is loud here in Seattle as the Kraken keep it in. Eberle shot denied by Thompson. Back behind the net, Capo Kakko. Kakko back up top to Larson. Now Vince Dunn on the wing, Kakko. Larson and him play catch. Beniers denied by Thompson. Seattle right back in on the attack. Let's take a look at Joey DeCord in this first couple periods, making saves left and right. Just putting his body on the line, tracking everything that Washington throws his way. Face-off coming here in the Washington end. Controlled by the Capitals. Ovechkin feeds it up. Washington gets it out. Here's Strome working with McMichael. Downstairs, McMichael overskated it, and it comes into the corner. Strome gets knocked down by Capo Kakko, and here comes Kakko. Kakko dangles, drops it off. Eberle can't handle it. And kept out by Strome. Watch out here. Numbers if they hurry. Strome working with Ovechkin. Denied by DeCord. Floats all the way back down the ice. Icing is the call. Alex Ovechkin that time right on the doorstep. Didn't get all of it. But Joey DeCord stops another one. Face-off controlled by Seattle. Turnover. Roy downstairs. Wilson. Denied by Joey DeCord. Face off again in the Seattle end. Controlled by Washington. Wilson flips it towards DeCord, who holds his ground again. Joey DeCord, a brick wall here tonight. Face-off controlled by Seattle. Turnover. Wilson fires. Stick aside by DeCord. Another turnover. Wilson whiffed into the slot. Back up top. Roy lets it fly. Stick aside again by DeCord. Goes to the far corner. Battle for it. Stevenson with Wilson into the trapezoid. Wilson knocks Stevenson down and floats into the corner. And Seattle keeps it alive and gets it out of the zone. Lindgren works it back behind the net, looking for a center. Lindgren, McCann, wide of the net. Comes into the corner, Protas gets there for the Capitals. And here they come, Wilson down the middle. Stretches it outside, cut off by Fleury. Wright feeds it up, Jared McCann. Fires a long shot, sticked aside by Thompson. Catton there for the Kraken. Into the corner, cut off by Roy. And Roy turns it over to McCann. McCann into the slot. Whipped on the shot. Good defense. Still loose. And the Capitals will get it out. Down. Sticked. And taken away by Jamie Alexiak. Catton drops it off McCann. Washington changes. McCann survives. Fires. And a penalty call. It's a trip on Washington. Seattle goes to the penalty. Power play for Seattle, their first of the night. Evans walked out in front. In the slot, Washington will clear the zone. Beauvillier turns it over before he can send it in. Now Beauvillier gets it back. Protas stick checked and it floats back into the Kraken end. First power play of the game for the Kraken. Already with a 3-0 lead. Beniers fires, gloved down by Thompson. Minute 28 to go. Face off here in the Washington end. Man advantage continues. And a shot blocked out in front into the slot. And Washington will get it out of the zone. McMichael up ahead, shorthanded. Carlson downstairs, score! It's a shorthanded goal for Washington. And they are on the board for the first time tonight. It's Connor McMichael who puts it in on the doorstep. Short-handed strike for Washington, getting it past Joey Decord for the first time in this game. Beautiful feed downstairs, and McMichael takes it right in. Speed down the ice by Washington, down a man, and they get on the board, cut it down to a 2-goal lead for Seattle. 3-1 our score. Power play continues for just over a minute as it floats out of the zone back into the Kraken end. Dunn feeds it up quickly. Capo Kakko with 1 minute to go on the penalty. Kakko outside McCann, denied by Thompson. Comes into the corner. Kakko gets there for the Kraken. Battle for it along the half wall. Van Riemsdyk escapes the pack with it, and Washington will clear the zone. Tuame up again, shorthanded. Poke check by Eli Tolvanen. Back behind the net, Decord finds it, stops play, 33 seconds to go on the penalty that has been controlled by Washington, shorthanded. Take another look at this McMichael tip try out in front. McMichael has been one of the few bright spots in this game for the Capitals, getting it in onto court early and often, and then finally scoring the goal on the shorthanded try right there. '27th goal of the season for McMichael. 33 seconds to go in the power play for the Kraken, controlled by the Washington. Shorthanded attempt again. Joey Decord knocks it down. And then it's out of the zone. Washington will have to tag back up. They're dominating this penalty right now. Now Seattle takes it back over for a moment. Beauvillier, trip, penalty called. And we're going to get 11 seconds of a 4-on-4 and then a Washington power play looking to get back in this game. So this power play has gone disastrous for Seattle. Now we're back to 4-on-4 and then a penalty here for Washington. Face-off controlled by Seattle. Fleury, Beniers. Now it's a penalty for Washington. Eberle shorthanded, back to Fleury, a shot, blocked down by Thompson. Eberle in the corner, battles for it, floats out to the near half wall. Battle for it in the corner, floats back up, and Washington will get it out. Man advantage Washington, Wilson whipped. Keeps it alive. Wilson gets crunched. Lindgren, now Winterton. And Fleury will clear the zone. Washington down by 2. It feels like they have the momentum now. Turnover. Cartier shorthanded downstairs. Oh, big hit as he tried to get it in. And now here comes Washington. Strome with it. Strome fires. Save. Joey Decord. 51 seconds left on the penalty. Face-off controlled by Seattle. Can't get it out, and now they do. Watch out, jailbreak. Gaudreau feeds it up ahead. Errant pass goes back behind the net. Melanson can't handle it. Seattle had a prime opportunity to take it coast to coast, but an errant pass. Now Leonard on the other end. Sandin couldn't get a clean shot off into court, finds it. 23 seconds to go on the penalty. Face-off, not very cleanly won by Washington. Nearly had a chance in the slot there. Good defense by Seattle. Melanson feeds it in deep with 10 seconds to go in the penalty. Ovechkin gets there. One final push if they hurry here. Seattle back to full strength. Protas brings it in, loses it into the corner. Protas up top. Carlson fires, blocked down by Decord. Beauvillier in the corner, loses it to Alexiak. Seattle kills off the penalty. Back to full strength, the Kraken. Float in deep. Carlson gets there first for Washington. 2-goal game, 11 minutes to play. Turnover in center. Shane Wright. Jared McCann takes it in, denied by Thompson. The rebound controlled by Ovechkin. Beauvillier takes it out of the zone. Tried to feed it in deep. Good pestering by Shane Wright. Here's Jared McCann, who gets crunched in neutral ice. Washington gets it out. Beauvillier cut off by Shane Wright. Here come the Kraken. Wright to the inside, turns it over. Beauvillier pestered from behind, feeds it in deep. Back behind the net, Dunn gets it for the Kraken. Capo Kakko works his way up ahead. Kakko sends it in, just past Thompson. Sticks it back into the trapezoid. McMichael gets crunched, gets it out of the zone to Protas. Beauvillier feeds it in around the boards. Halfway through this third period in a 2-goal game. Dunn escapes the pack with it out of the corner. Capo Kakko up ahead. Kakko drops it off. McCann, a shot denied by Thompson. Just over halfway through this third period now. Seattle by 2. Washington wins the faceoff, but kept in by Dunn. Blocked out in front before he could get a shot off, and here comes Washington. Pass into traffic on the inside, controlled by Seattle. Winterton turns back now. Melanson. He loses it before he can bring it in. Sordeff fires, penalty called again on Seattle. It's another trip. And Washington's going to go back to the power play. It's Vince Dunn. Just lost control of his stick there. That's a bad penalty. And another power play here for Washington, down by 2. The momentum shifting to the Capitals' side. Face-off control by Washington. Man advantage, Capitals. Sandin denied by Decord. Face-off control by Washington. Taking it in, sprawling out is Joey Decord. Wilson on the wing, takes it in. Oh, that one off of Decord. Goes into the far side. Larson exits the zone. 90 seconds to go on the penalty. Long pass comes to the near side. Sandin sends it towards Decord, sticks it aside. Minute 20 to go on the penalty here for Washington. Down low, Leonard, backhanded try off of Decord. Goes to the far side. Tolvanen gets there for the Kraken. Tried to flip it up and out. Chutrin keeps it in. Leonard, Sandin denied out in front. Tolvanen gets there off the boards, kept in. Washington on the attack. Downstairs, Sandin intercepted by Larson. And Seattle gets it out of the zone. Under a minute to go in the penalty. Sandin right back in. Chutrin. Top of the slot, bobbled, controlled by the Kraken. And kept in. Chutrin's shot blocked out in front. Seattle desperately trying to get it out, and they do. Number of chances for Washington on this penalty. 17 seconds to go on the man advantage. McMichael's shot, bobbled but caught by Decor. Joey Decor, despite giving up the one goal here in this third period, has played an excellent game in between the pipes for the Kraken. Lays out to make that save. I don't know if he lost his footing, but he kept with it. Decord keeps it out. Still a 2-goal lead for the Kraken. Face off in their end with 11 seconds to go, and the man advantage here for Washington. Face off. Floats into the slot, controlled by Eberle, who flips it out of the zone, and Seattle is going to kill off another penalty. Back to full strength goes Seattle. Ovechkin just feeds it to Thompson. They'll stop play with 7:06 to go in the third. Still a 2-goal lead for Seattle. Face off. Kind of sits there for a moment, but Washington's got it. Carlson up ahead to McMichael. McMichael fires, stick to side by Decor. Comes into the corner. Eberle there for the Kraken. Sends it all the way around. Kept in for a moment. Beniers, good defense to cut him off, and Washington has to tag back up. Carlson pestered by Beniers. Errant pass comes all the way back. Seattle's got it. Jordan Eberle. Dangles. Beniers. Shot. Denied off the glove of Thompson. Back behind the net. Eberle out in front. Denied. Rebound. Controlled by Thompson. 6:02 to go. Face-off controlled by Seattle. Fleury floats it towards the net. Thompson finds it and stops play again. 5:54 to go in the third. Still a 2-goal lead for Seattle. And a face-off coming in the Washington end. Face-off controlled by Seattle. Beniers right on the doorstep, denied by Thompson again. Listen to this place. Face-off controlled by Washington that time. Down by 2, the Capitals. Dowd will bring it in. Center to Leonard. Loses it to Capocacco. Under 5.5 to go. Here comes Seattle. Eberle. Jordan Eberle down the center. Tried to skate his way around. Frank takes it away from behind. Here comes Washington. Frank looking for his friends. Frank downstairs. Denied by the cord. Wrap around out in front. Back up top. Van Riemsdyk lets it fly off the goalpost. Sandin now can't handle it. And Seattle will get it out. Oh my goodness. And now here come the Kraken, 3-on-2. Fleury can't handle it. Up top, Lindgren, off a body, in the air, loose. Controlled by Thompson. Action on both ends. It's getting tight. Look at this shot by Dowd from way up top. Van Riemsdyk, the tip attempt, right off the bar. Nearly made it a 1-goal game by a matter of inches. Look at this. Dowd deflects it right off the pipe. Face-off in the Washington end, controlled by the Capitals. Cut off, but out of the zone. LaPierre up top, Duame. He couldn't get a clean shot off. They're in the 4-minute mark to go here in the third. Melanson cut off by Roy, kept alive. Melanson whipped. Good defense by Matt Roy. Now Duame to the near side. Taken away by Alexiak. Off the stick of LaPierre. Under 4 minutes to go. Winterton Cut off by Chutrin. Washington gains control. Alex Ovechkin. Up top, Matt Roy. Just nearing the 3-minute mark to go in a 2-goal game. Roy centers, intercepted, taken away. Roy denied. Joey Decord. 3:07 to go in the third. Face off in the Kraken end. Controlled by Seattle. Catton fed up by Alexiak. Catton drops it off. Right. Downstairs on the doorstep. McCann can't finish. What a save by Thompson. And Washington gets it out. Protas, now Sordev. Brings it in for the Capitals. Sends it towards the corner. Sticks it aside. Into the corner. Jamie Alexiak fights with Protas. Seattle wins that fight, and they'll get it out again. Jared McCann. Brings it up ahead for Seattle. McCann dangles. Back behind the net. McCann out in front. A shot off the side of the goal. Thompson may have gotten a piece of it. Floats into the corner. Protas there. McCann keeps it in. Back up top. Vince Dunn bobbles. Keeps it alive. On the wing, McCann. Button hooks around. Sends it towards the net. And Thompson finds it. Minute 47 to go. It's coming down to the wire now in a 2-goal game. And Logan Thompson doing his best to try to keep Washington in this game. Look at this stop on that shot by Jared McCann on the doorstep. Minute 47 to go, coming down to the final 2 minutes. Seattle wins the faceoff. Larson fires. Walker saved by Thompson. Goes into the corner. Washington gains control in their own end. Chased down by Stevenson. Washington gets it out. Carlson up ahead. Sordev fires. Glove down. Joey Decord. Minute 16 to go. Washington has not pulled Thompson yet. But you would think they'll do so in a matter of moments. Here in a 2-goal game. Going down the stretch. Face-off control by Washington. Up top, Carlson. There goes Thompson to the bench. A shot tipped around. Oh, off the side of the net. Ovechkin. Wraparound try. Denied by Decord. Loose puck. Denied again out in front. Gaudreau might have gotten a piece that time. Comes into the corner. Washington trying to keep it in the zone. Battle for it. Seattle's got it. Tolvanen towards the empty net. Blocked out in front. 35 seconds to go. Van Riemsdyk back behind their own net. Carlson. Strome now has it for Washington. Under 40 seconds to go. McMichael. Ovechkin. Denied out in front. Floats into the corner. McMichael gets there for Washington. Cut off by Beniers. Floats up and out of the zone. Washington has to tag up. We're under 30 seconds to go. 2-goal game. McMichael centering. Ovechkin deflected up. Stays in play. Van Riemsdyk back behind the net. Looking for a play out in front. Gets it into Strome. Denied by Decord. 13 seconds to play. Seattle traps it in the corner. To the outside. Fans on their feet here at Climate Pledge Arena. Fleury sends it up to Melanson. Towards the empty net. Wide. Time will expire. Beniers fires. Score! And the Kraken are going to win. Matty Beniers into the empty net. And the Kraken are going to hold off Washington here at home. .3 to go in the third. They'll touch it, and that's it. The Seattle Kraken, with a defensive gem here at home against Washington, win it by a score of 4-1. Joey Decord was a brick wall in between the pipes tonight, giving up just the 1 goal on the shorthanded attempt by McMichael, and that was it. The Kraken even the season series against the Capitals to 1 game apiece. Each of the first 2 games of this series end with a 4-1 final score. Washington won it back in October 4-1, and Seattle wins it here in this game by a score of 4-1. These 2 teams will meet one more time before the regular season is done, but Seattle gets it done here at Climate Pledge Arena here tonight. 4 goals by 4 different guys on the Kraken side. Joey Decord was excellent in this game, and the Kraken win it here tonight against the Washington Capitals. 4-1 the final score from a sold-out Climate Pledge Arena. Good night.